What am I eating? Woo! Almost at the top.
Okay, I can't say that I understand the rules at all, but it seems to be a pretty good show.
Woo! It's got a lot going on, but it's actually really good.
I think that our main issue with Mexico City is there's just way too much fun stuff to do. It was our first visit here. We were in the city for a whole month and we still couldn't cover off everything on our list.
Of course, what we did cover was amazing. We had great food, incredible sights, fun things to do, and that totally unforgettable afternoon at Xochimilco.
Now, normally as full-time travelers, we do want to make the most of each destination, but we also want to do it at a reasonable cost. We like to say that we're not budget travelers, but we are budget-minded.
Unfortunately, I think we really blew our budget this month. Probably our extra fancy Airbnb had a lot to do with it, but let's find out. We're at the end of our month here, and this is the time when we tally the final bill. What did we get up to, and how much did it cost?
So we will say up front, you can still have a great time here without spending a lot of money. And we've got some tips for that right at the end. But first, a big hello to all you nomads. So if you're new around here, you've never seen us before, I'm Stephanie and this is Gillian.
We're traveling the world full time and sharing our adventures as we go.
So whenever we arrive in a brand new destination, we always love getting to know the city by just walking around and taking in all the key sites. Now for Mexico City, this is a little bit challenging because of course this is a huge city and there are so many neighborhoods and each one has its own sites and its own history. But we thought we'd get started with the historic center. And sometimes we like to do these sort of things as a paid walking tour, but we knew for Mexico City there would be a lot of resources online. So we ended up finding a free self-guided walking tour, and that's what we're up to today. We're just walking around and taking in the key buildings. So we're getting started today with the Palacio de Bellas Arts. So this is the stunning building right behind me, and this is where you come if you want a little bit of opera or some theater or some other amazing cultural event.
Well, we've just popped over to the Parque Alameda, which is actually supposed to be one of the oldest parks in the Americas.
So apparently the building behind me used to be just an ordinary palace, but after her husband died, the Countess decided to show off her power and her wealth by covering the entire building in very expensive blue tiles. Okay, we just want to squeeze in one more palace this morning. So apparently this palace was built by a count who wanted to give his daughter a substantial dowry when she was getting married, but he was afraid that her husband would squander it. So instead of giving her cash, he gave her this beautiful palace right here that is just gorgeous. There were so many amazing sights just along this one pedestrian street. This was definitely a great first stop for us here in Mexico City.
Well, we couldn't come to Mexico without checking out a wrestling match. So tonight we're at Arena Mexico for Lucha Libre. It's my first time ever and I'm super excited.
Okay, I can't say that I understand the rules at all, but it seems to be a pretty good show. Plus we've got a chelada, so that makes it all the better.
Well, I'm finally getting the chance to check out Chapultepec Castle after a few false starts. The first time we came at 2 p.m. and the lineup was so long, it was like a quarter mile long. So I came back earlier the next day, maybe by around 11, and the line was pretty much just as long. So today I came bright and early, 15 minutes before opening, and I was actually the first one in the gate. But somehow I bought the ticket for the wrong museum, if you can believe it. So 15 minutes later, here I am at the castle and ready to check it out. Well, I'm glad I persevered because this site was most definitely worth the effort. The castle is located within Chapultepec Park, which is a huge green space right in the middle of the city. There are quite a few attractions within the park, and we checked out a lot of them, including the National Archaeology Museum, and the Museum of Modern Art.
So this is really wild. I have no idea what to expect. We've come down to the waterfront. It's about an hour outside of Mexico City, where the Aztecs originally built wonderful canals, and today they are primarily used for entertainment. So there are all kinds of colorful boats that cruise the canals, and there's food and there's music. So we're hopping in a boat for the day, and we're just gonna see what happens. Oh, gracias. Wow, what a setup. Okay, so this is my official accessory for the boat ride. I have my little tiny cup, and inside it's a shot of tequila. So cheers. Oh, yeah, that's it.
La Corona, the crown, my favorite one. La botella.
Woo! No.
Looks like it's time to make some micheladas. I'm gonna put a little tamarind on the rim. We're getting into the sweet sesame seeds, the chili powder. Time to line it up. Next we get into the sauces. We got a little Tabasco sauce, Worcestershire sauce, a little Classica La Botanera sauce. I don't know. Okay, time for beer. Oh yes. Now the most important thing to add, you need one shark and one of these cherry rings, and apparently that's how we do micheladas around here. Well, this has just been a super fun afternoon out on the water. Now, it is something that you can do as a DIY trip, but we decided to join a tour, which turned out to be super fun, just an all-around fun Saturday afternoon.
Well, we're having a big field trip today. We have come about an hour outside of Mexico City, and we're here at the site of Teotihuacan. So this is one of the most significant civilizations from Mesoamerica that, of course, now all we have left are these wonderful pyramids and ruins.
Woo! Almost at the top. Ah, woohoo! Yeah.
So we're going to spend the whole day exploring. I love history and I love archaeology, so this is kind of like my perfect day. Well, we've been wandering all over the site this morning, but now's the time when we're getting to the most exciting part. So we are heading to the Pyramid of the Sun, and it's actually a very long, very hot walk. So I'm dressed in my best archaeology outfit, and I'm ready to take on the challenge. Well, that walk turned out to be way longer and way hotter than I anticipated, but we made it, we're here, and the Pyramid of the Sun is absolutely magnificent. It's unbelievable. So of course, Mexico City is all about great food and great dining out, and we wanted to get things started with breakfast. So we're going to have a very classic Mexican breakfast at a very traditional eatery, and I'm very excited to dive in. Okay, wow. Oh, it smells so good. Look how rich it is. So we have this just very simple traditional breakfast. We've got some beautiful sweet buns. I've got one that looks like maybe a raisin and cinnamon bun. And as you saw, this is a hot chocolate that has been hand frothed in the urn. It looks piping hot, smells absolutely delicious, like a nice rich thick cocoa. Wow. It is super hot, creamy, really delicious, got that wonderful hit of cocoa, and it's gonna be great with this bun.
Well, I did not hold back. I went ahead and got the pastry that is covered in sugar, and I'm just gonna break off a piece and see how it tastes with that hot, fresh, whipped up chocolate. Oh yeah. I don't think I'll be having this for breakfast every day, but I'm definitely gonna enjoy it today. For lunch, we're going to one of our go-to spots. It's just across the street from our Airbnb, and they have a really delicious tacos. Hola. Dos tacos de bistec? No, para aquí, sí. Gracias. So I've got a couple beef tacos here, but what I love about this spot are the toppings. So there's cucumber and pineapple, there's avocado, salsa, and my favorite part are the matchstick fries. So we'll give it a squeeze of lime, and let's give this a try. Oh yeah, that was a big bite. The crunchiness of those matchstick fries is really what makes this taco for me.
So for a snack, we normally like to eat pretty healthy, but today we're gonna have something that's a little bit like junk food, but kind of next level junk food. So we've heard about this snack. It's called Locos. It was actually apparently invented here in Mexico City, and it should be very interesting to try. Hola, uno Locos? Oh wow. Wow, gracias. So this is my little snack. As you can see, it is a bag of Doritos that has been cut in half. So I've seen some descriptions where it said it's a bit like a Dorito salad. So there are supposed to be some vegetables in there, definitely some sort of hot sauce. I've also heard that there are gummy bears in there or other little candies. So it's gonna be quite the combination of things. Okay, so the fork has proven not so helpful, so I'm just gonna go for it. So I've got a chip here with carrots, jicama, sauce, powders, all kinds of things. Oh, and some gummy. Wow, that is something else. That's some kind of snack. So of course you can have street food for basically every meal of the day here in Mexico City, but for dinner we wanted to have something a little bit special. There's a dish that you can only have once a year. This is the time of year, and we've come to a restaurant that's super local, and apparently they do an amazing job with it. Thank you. Wow, it looks so good. Oh my goodness. So the dish is called Chiles en Nogada, and it is only available in the August-September time period, kind of in the run-up to Independence Day. And you'll notice that the colors of the dish, the red, the green, and the white, represent the colors of the flag of Mexico. And what the dish consists of is a poblano pepper that is stuffed with meat and with fruit, and then it is covered, and this is really, I think, the star of the show, it's covered with a sauce, a cream sauce made out of walnuts, and it sounds so delicious. We've been so excited about trying it, and I'm just gonna dive in right now. Wow, this looks amazing. That is life-changing. It is absolutely delicious. I love the sort of sweet and savory with the fruit and the meat, and then that walnut sauce is just so smooth and creamy. It's huge, but I kind of want to eat the whole thing myself. I don't think I'm going to share, Gillian.
So clearly we've had an amazing time, but we almost didn't come here, and for a totally ridiculous reason. As you guys know, we're traveling full time with our two little dogs, and normally we don't have much trouble finding a place that we can stay with them. But in Mexico City, we thought we'd never find a nice Airbnb. Honestly, we reached out to about 20 hosts and they all said no to our dogs.
We were starting to feel like we'd have to skip Mexico City altogether, which would just be crazy. But finally, we had one Airbnb host who said yes, and that's how we ended up in the most luxurious, the most expensive apartment we've ever stayed in. And that's the apartment we're gonna take a look at right now. All right, masking up. Come on, guys. All right, are you ready for this? So you can see right away why we decided to take this place, even though it's well outside our usual budget. So just look at this gorgeous living room. I love it. It's got these wonderful pillows, lots of lovely design touches, and then the kitchen is just about as perfect as you would expect. Everything new, everything modern. We've got all the appliances and absolutely no clutter. And then there's the bedroom. I mean, I just fell in love with the bed. It's so huge and it's got all these pillows, more pillows. I love that. Now, the bathroom is a little unusual, and you guys who watched our first day in Mexico City video, you know what's coming. So obviously it's another gorgeous space. I mean, I love this huge soaker tub. We've been calling it the princess bathroom because it's just so precious. My only feedback to the host, just a little feedback, is maybe put a wall and a door around that toilet because it is a little open concept for my taste.
All right, that's the recap. Now let's get into the costs.
Okay, for entertainment, this one came in at just over $300 US, and that's a pretty high spend for us.
It sure is. Now, most of that spending came from our group tours, Teotihuacan, and that fun afternoon on the canal.
Yeah. So the important thing to know is that both of these tours can actually be done easily as DIY for a lot cheaper, like really a fraction of the cost.
Plus, there are absolutely world-class museums here that are very affordable, just $4 to get in.
And there's just so much free stuff to do in the city. You can easily spend days, just days, walking around and taking in all the sights. And of course, we did have to get around. So for our transportation, that one came in at $90.
We took a lot of Ubers. A ride was usually just a few dollars, but I also got a membership to the city's bike share program. Now, the bikes were in pretty rough shape, but they were super convenient, and I actually ended up using them almost every day.
Yep. So for dining out, this was another high spend for us. This one came in at $500.
So we tried it all. We had street food, casual meals out, fine dining.
So usually we went out for at least one snack or one meal every day. It's kind of hard not to when you're surrounded by so many amazing options all the time.
We did experiment with a few international restaurants, but we found they were a little bit hit or miss, and for sure they didn't really seem to offer good value.
Yeah, they were kind of expensive, but the street food, that's where you get the great value.
Yeah, I ate more gorditas than I really care to admit.
Yeah, she did. So groceries, this one came in at $450.
I did most of our shopping at Sumesa, which you saw me going to on the first day. This is the closest big store, and it really seemed to cover our needs.
Now, our Airbnb, this is the really big spend.
So we do have some flexibility with our accommodation budget, but we normally like to spend between $1,400 and $1,600 on our Airbnb.
So we usually find that lands us a pretty decent apartment, I would say, in most of the places we go to.
But in Mexico City, for the reason we shared earlier, our budgeting flew right out the window.
Woo! Way out.
Now, we are in Roma Norte, which is a really prime location, so that's going to drive the cost up.
Yeah, way up. So this place cost $1,700 for the month, plus the Airbnb service fee, plus another $335 for the occupancy taxes. So you really can't forget about those taxes when you're renting here in Mexico.
So I want to say two things about the cost of our Airbnb. First, the amount we paid is just outrageous.
So we were actually really embarrassed about it, and we honestly considered not doing a cost of living video at all, but we know that you guys appreciate that we're so transparent with our costs.
The second thing is that what we paid for this apartment in Mexico City is actually the same amount we paid for a basement apartment in Toronto earlier this year.
I would actually rather be here in Mexico City than in that basement apartment. So we know you're gonna have a lot to say on this topic, so just go right ahead and leave it in the comments below.
Okay, it's time to get into the total. You're probably getting the impression that we did a lot here and that we also spent a lot, and it's all true.
But again, it's very easy to have your own amazing time in Mexico City and stick to a tighter budget. There's loads of free or cheap entertainment, like we said, no need to spend big on a tour.
And if you're not traveling with two little dogs, that will open up a whole world of lower cost accommodations.
So the total amount that we spent for a month in Mexico City was, I'm actually afraid to say it, it was $3,500, and that is a huge spend for us.
Absolutely, it's actually our biggest so far, but we have no regrets because this was also one of our best travel months ever.
Yeah, I have to agree. Now, what's really interesting about that amount is it makes our time in San Miguel look way affordable.
That's right, we just spent a month in San Miguel de Allende, one of Mexico's most beautiful colonial towns.
Yeah, and it's also known as being a very pricey destination, so it's all about the fancy restaurants and the expensive tours.
So we were kind of worried that we were just gonna open up our wallets balance and watch the money disappear.
Anyway, you can see for yourself how it all turned out by clicking on the next video right here.